I might die, but at least the Devils win. That's how it definitely feels for a lot of our W's so far this season, save for, I don't know, 2 or 3. But a win's a win, as the New Jersey Devils do beat the Montreal Canadiens of a score 4-3, as we did give up one while they had their goalie pulled there at the end. And thankfully, even though it was heart attack inducing, did not give up another one to pull away and secure the regulation win. Uh, wasn't the prettiest one. If anything, there was probably more to criticize here than the Rangers game. Yeah, Rangers game had those glaring issues. Not so much this one, but from our actual on ice play, we didn't generate a heck of a ton in this one. Poured on a little bit more there in the third period, but really through the first two, I could argue Montreal being the better or having the better of the chances between the two teams. It's not that we got, hemmed in, destroyed, it was one sided by any means. It was pretty close as far as run of play goes. But actual chances, I probably have to give it to Montreal. We probably had more, but I think theirs were more high danger and just cumulatively gave them better chances. I mean, if Josh Anderson wasn't awful, he missed basically a wide open net early on in the first, and then he missed another almost like tap in. So, yeah, shout out Josh Anderson missing multiple chances to not just give you the lead, tie it back up, and all that. Shout out Nick Suzuki for making this much more of a heart attack game than it should be. And then shout out the Devils for pulling it together, especially a few of the big guns, as Timo Meyer probably has arguably his best game of the season. I think there was one other one I would possibly hand it to. I forget exactly which game it was, but I know he had one really strong one previously, but yeah, this was probably it. The line that had Timo on it tonight was the best one. Whether it was starting out with Toffoli and Tierney and him uh, playing strongly with those two, and then getting bumped up to be with Nico and Bratt, and that line looking dynamo when it was put together. Overall, love that game out of Timo. And if he can bring that every night, Jack gets a better game than we got from him in this one. Although, that being said, I don't think Jack was terrible. If anything, he was probably a bit more defensively minded in this one. Didn't have as crazy of offensive chances, although he definitely generated a few. It was an interesting game from Jack for sure. It wasn't the usual line mates that he's had, but I mean, there was some line juggling. He's played with almost everybody on the roster as it is anyway. But yeah, Nico and Brad, I thought earlier on it wasn't as strong. They really came together in the third, especially once Timo was put on their line. And the defensive pairings, Ball probably has his best game of the season. Again, I think he's had a couple other really strong ones, but this one got to be up there, not just from the defensive stuff and the production, but transition as well. I thought he had a strong game. And then Nemec had a bit of a rougher game, although nothing horrendous that sticks out. I can talk about the goals real quick, as I've kind of went out of order how I normally do this. So the first goal against there by Gallagher was kind of how they shouted it out on the broadcast. He found a bit of soft ice. Probably has got to be on the centerman there. But I could also see, I don't think that's Holtz's responsibility, even though he was probably technically the closest. It was a long shift. Guys were tired. People get lost in the mix of coverage there. But it was also a really great shot. I don't hate that goal against, to be honest. It wasn't atrocious coverage. He just found a really good spot on the ice. Wicked shot, great pass and setup. So not too upset at that one, and honestly wasn't too upset at the second one either. But before that, Timo Meyer got the tying goal to start us off. That was great to see. Yes, it was yet another net front almost tap in. Not any sort of sniper or anything, but terrific shot pass from Ball. It was also a great transition play from Timo to get the puck up ice to begin with, which I thought he's actually been really good in for most of the season, to be honest. It's been more the end zone stuff they could probably critique Timo on, defensive and offensive. But the transition's actually been pretty good from him most of the season, especially so in this game. But he gets to the net front after the transition, leaving the puck for Ball. Ball gets the puck right to him. Allen almost got the pad out to stop it, but he didn't. It's a game of inches. Timo Meyer ties at 1-1. Didn't clarify this, but if you're watching this, first period went scoreless. That'll happen the second. There was 4 goals in total. When Montreal had the third goal of the period with Suzuki taking the lead. I believe on the broadcast they put this one on Mercer a bit. Watching it back, I don't really think so. Siegenthaler had a fairly weak clearing attempt that Mercer had to jab at with a Canadian right on top of him, also making a play for the puck. And he did manage to clear the zone, get it past the halfway point. Yeah, it kind of went right to a Montreal Canadian, but I don't think he really had much of a chance to get that in super deep. Or if he did, it would have been icing anyway. Obviously, icing would have been better than a goal against, but I really don't think it was a bad clearing attempt out of Mercer there. If I'm going to put it on anyone, it's probably going to be Nico in this case, actually. I could see you saying Siegenthaler should have coasted over, but he did take a man after Marino went and took the Canadian that had the puck. Siegenthaler transitioned over from midway on the ice to cover the guy that was behind Marino, that if he goes over to the other side would have had a very clear break in as well. So it's basically, stuck between rock and a hard place. He chose the one. I did not hate the decision. Great pass over to Suzuki, which is just good vision there by the Canadian that made the pass. Nico is late getting back. Reason I put the blame on Nico there is I think he kind of went up ice too far after seeing the not perfect clear attempt between Siegenthaler and Mercer. He needed to kind of sit back a little bit, sit on Suzuki, and instead Suzuki gets kind of that clear path in. Great shot. Dawes probably, you could arguably say, has that one. I don't think he really had much of a chance on the Gallagher one. He has a chance at least because he gets a clean look. There's no screen, but there's also no defender to, stop Suzuki from ripping a really nice shot. And again, inches. He was literally probably 2 inches away from saving that puck, but he doesn't. 2-1. Then we, a little bit later, get a Palat tying goal off of great transition play from Palat. Nemec, who I do think, again, didn't have his best defensive game in this one, but wasn't atrocious either. Makes a great shot. Really one of those you're shooting for a rebound type shots. That's exactly what happens. Palat gets to the great spot on ice. Jack drew 2 guys to the center. Palat scores to make it 2-2. From there, we get back into the third period. We had our captain, Nico Hischier, score a power play goal. Oh my God, we scored a power play goal. Oh my God. Was it a traditional power play goal? No, they got it clear. We transitioned somewhat quickly right back in. Great pass to Nico on almost a breakaway, a partial breakaway for the goal. So it wasn't nice rotation, nice setup, dangerous chances or anything like that. So yeah, it counts as kind of breaking the funk on the power play, sure, but it wasn't from like a systems or setup play really in zone. But hey, I'll take it. Great move by Nico. Great finish. You love to see that. 3-2 Devils. Then Brett basically seals it away by making it 4-3 off of, I would call it just a patented Brett move, which is he's going down the right side boards, destroys the defense. I mean, just blows past him, takes the stick lift, and just patience, roofs it 4-2. And from there, it really felt like we had it locked up until they pulled the goalie. We had a couple plays where it felt like guys were trying to get too fancy with handing it off to each other for the goal. One of those times burned us with Suzuki, again, getting a clean look with no defender between him and the goalie. He pots it 5-hole. It is partially stopped, but it does trickle through to make it 4-3 with just over a minute left. They got a couple other really high danger chances by the end there, but none of them went in, thankfully, as the Devils win in regulation 4-3. That's really going to do it. I thought Nico Dawes had a decent enough game. He gave us a game to win, help us win it. We did win it. That's what I'm going to ask. Could he have had maybe one? Maybe two? Probably should have had one. Yeah, but I'm not super upset at any of them, really. Good enough performance, and thankfully our offensive guys showed up, and we got the W. So that's really all that matters. Timo resurgence would be huge. Nico, I continue to think, has just been phenomenal lately. Just excellence from the captain. You love to see it, not just the production standpoint, but just across the board. I've even called him out in some of these videos defensively with some plays, but all in all, his play has been phenomenal. I think you got to keep Timo, Nico, Bratt together, right? Then do Toffoli, Jack. Do you see Holtz bumped up as a right winger there? Do you keep Mercer there, who I don't think's been playing overall the greatest? There's choices, I guess. It sounds like Bastian's going to be out a while, so do we have Smith as a winger long-term now? So if you move Holtz up, then who slides down to the fourth right wing? Do you move Tierney back down? Holla centers the third line. then with Lazar centers it. Well, Lazar's then the fourth line center. So then you got Palat third line with Holla and Mercer. If you bump Holtz up, Tierney goes down. I could do that, right? Smith, Tierney, Lazar, or Smith, Lazar, Tierney, fourth line. Palat, Holla, Mercer, third line with Holtz on the second. Yeah, we'll see what they end up doing. It'll probably end up being what we finish the game with tonight. So, yeah, that's really gonna do it. We're right back at it tomorrow. 1 p.m. game against Tampa. Huge game. Huge, 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 huge. 4-point swing with the team that currently, as is, we're the closest to passing for a playoff spot. Still think Flyers are our best bet in the long term of this season by the end. Still, that is my prediction, is third Metro position. But would feel better to just be in a playoff spot regardless. So Tampa's the team to do that for. If we beat them, last I saw they were beating the Islanders by 1 in the third. Really, I just don't want that game to go to overtime. If the Islanders won in regulation, that would be fine too. Tampa winning in regulation, sure, I guess. But that's just how it goes. Yeah, going to go ahead and call it there, guys, as we're right back at it, 1 p.m. tomorrow. Hopefully I get a decently quick reaction video out tomorrow. I got a few things going on. Obviously still going to catch the game, but not sure if I'll get a reaction video uploaded right after, as I'm doing here today with the afternoon start. So, as I'm saying for the 400th time now, that's it. See you guys tomorrow. As always, and forever, let's go Devils, baby.